Instead of just another small hardware update, Xiaomi's newest phone has a feature that might just completely change how you make content. And no, it's not about more megapixels. It's about a totally new way of seeing yourself. Just think about it. For years, we've had to choose, right? You either get the amazing, high-quality cameras on the back, or you use the not-so-great front camera so you can actually see what you're doing. Well, this year, the biggest innovation isn't a new lens or a bigger sensor. It's a second screen on the back of the phone. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Okay, so let's really get into this. How does this little screen on the back turn a regular phone into something, well, into a powerful new weapon for creators? Oh man, we have all been there. Trying to get a group selfie with a good rear camera is just a game of guesswork. You point, you shoot, you check the photo, and someone's head is always cut off. This slide shows you the fix. Now you can use that amazing ultra-wide camera and actually see everyone on the rear screen to frame the shot perfectly. No more guessing, no more awkward repeats, it just works. And if you're a vlogger, this is an absolute game changer, seriously. You're no longer stuck with that grainy, terrible in low light front camera. Now you can film yourself with the phone's best sensor, that main 1x camera, while framing yourself perfectly. And yeah, that screen is bright enough to see what you're doing, even in broad daylight. This is a huge jump in quality for your videos. But you know, it's not all about the slick hardware. Xiaomi is really leaning into its partnership with Leica to give its photos a very specific, very artistic look. This isn't just about capturing what's there, it's about giving it a mood, a feeling. And that Leica color, it's not just some filter you add later. Nope, it's an entire aesthetic that's baked right into the DNA of the camera. It defines how the phone sees the world from the second you hit that shutter button. So what is this Leica look exactly? Well, you'll notice the reds and greens are super deep and rich. The overall vibe is often described as trum, kind of moody and deep, you know? It's awesome if you love that vintage classic look. But hey, if you're all about bright, airy, true-to-life colors, this might not be for you. It's a very strong, opinionated style. And this quote just nails its biggest strength. In a really complex scene, like autumn in Hanoi with all those colors, the camera doesn't get overwhelmed. It actually enhances the whole spectrum, making every color pop beautifully. It finds the art in the scene. There is one little quirk to this style though, vignetting. You know where the corners of the photo get a little darker? It can actually look amazing for portraits because it pulls your eye right to the person in the middle. But if you're shooting a big, wide landscape with a beautiful blue sky, those dark corners can be a bit distracting. Alright, so we've covered the new creative tool and the cool color science. Now it's time to put the actual hardware through its paces. Let's see where this triple camera system really shines, and where it had to make some pretty tough compromises. At first glance, the specs look great. 50 megapixels across the board. The main sensor is an absolute monster. The telephoto is great for portraits, but the real story is in the details, and you can spot a potential problem right there with the ultra-wide lens. So here's the deal with that awesome secondary screen. It takes up a lot of room inside the phone. And to make it fit, Xiaomi had to use a smaller sensor for the ultra-wide camera. When it comes to cameras, sensor size is everything. And yeah, you can definitely notice the difference. Put a photo from this phone side by side with one from a competitor like the Vivo X300 Pro, and that trade-off is crystal clear. The Xiaomi's ultra-wide shots just look softer. They're missing that fine detail, and sometimes the colors go a bit weird and yellow. The Vivo, which doesn't have that screen to worry about, just gives you a sharper, more true-to-life image. But then you switch to portrait mode and the tables completely turn. The Xiaomi is incredible here. It keeps skin texture looking natural and real. You can see fine hairs, you can see pores. The Vivo, on the other hand, goes way too hard with the AI beauty filter. It just smooths everything out until it looks artificial, almost like a doll's skin. So the main thing to know about the telephoto lens is this. It has one major weakness. When it gets dark, the camera slows the shutter speed way down to let in more light. We're talking 1/33 of a second, sometimes even slower. At that speed, even if you have the steadiest hands in the world, the tiniest movement from your subject will turn your photo into a blurry mess. It's a real gamble. Okay, so we've got this amazing screen and a powerful main camera, but also some compromises with the other lenses. Does this phone actually live up to the hype as the ultimate vlogging machine? Let's break down how it does with video. Overall, the video package is really, really strong where it matters most. The quality you get from that main camera is top-notch, and the stabilization is fantastic. And of course, that rear screen is just so useful. But there are a couple of little software quirks that keep it from being absolutely perfect. Put it up against the iPhone, which is kind of the gold standard for video, and you see some interesting trade-offs. The Xiaomi can focus way closer, which is great for showing off details on products. But the image is a little brighter, a little more processed, and here's the big one. It stutters when you switch between lenses while you're recording. The iPhone is still the king of that super smooth zoom. So at the end of the day, the video on this phone is made for a specific type of creator. The combination of great stabilization and those punchy, vibrant Leica colors means your footage looks fantastic right out of the camera. It's perfect for people who just want to shoot something and post it straight to social media without a ton of editing. All right. We've weighed the amazing innovation of that rear screen against some pretty real camera compromises. So let's get down to it. Who should actually buy this unique phone? Here's the final scorecard. The strengths are huge, and they're all about a new way to create content. But the weaknesses are there too, and they show up in pretty normal situations. The ultra-wide is a bit of a bummer, and that telephoto lens is risky when the lights are low. It's a phone with some incredible highs and some pretty noticeable lows. And at a price of around 24 million Vietnamese dong, it's definitely not cheap, so the value here is really specific. It's not for everybody, but for the right person who's going to use its unique features, it could be absolutely worth it. So here's the bottom line. This is not the best all-around camera phone you can buy. Period. But for people who vlog all the time, for people who live on social media, or for anyone who just wants the absolute best quality selfies possible, that secondary screen makes this an incredibly powerful and specialized tool. In the end, the Xiaomi 17 Pro Max makes a pretty clear bet. It's betting that true creativity doesn't just come from perfecting specs year after year. It comes from inventing entirely new tools. And it kind of forces us to ask ourselves what we value more in a creative device: flawless performance or brand new, exciting possibilities.
If you enjoy this video, please like, share, subscribe, and hit the bell to the latest update from my channel. Thank you for watching till the end, and see you in the next video.